Do you know that feeling when you're like a tightrope walker, constantly tripping over your own feet? Self-sabotage is that invisible force that prevents us from reaching our goals, as if we were programmed to fail. But is there a hidden reason behind this? Is there a part of ourselves that, even unintentionally, prevents us from prospering? Get ready, because today we are going to investigate the deepest corners of your mind, bringing to light the reasons why you self-sabotage. Unravel your internal mechanisms, understand the origin of your fears, and learn to transform this struggle into a journey of self-knowledge and freedom. Are you ready to question your choices and take control of your destiny? Have you ever found yourself repeating the same mistakes in your relationships, even knowing they are not good for you? Or have you ever felt an exaggerated reaction in certain situations, as if something inside you was in control? The key to understanding these patterns lies in your unconscious, a vast ocean of experiences and memories that influence your daily decisions. Imagine your mind as an iceberg. The visible tip is your conscious, responsible for rational thoughts, but most of it is submerged in the unconscious, where traumas, limiting beliefs, and family patterns reside. How do these past experiences affect your choices? And, mainly, how can you change this? Past experiences directly affect how you interpret the present, and, consequently, your decisions. A childhood trauma, for example, can lead you to avoid situations that remind you of that moment, even if you don't realize it. Limiting beliefs, such as the idea of not being good enough, can prevent you from applying for that dream job. Family patterns, such as a conflicting relationship between your parents, can be repeated in your own relationships. Have you ever stopped to think about how your past experiences are shaping your present? Are you living your life or just repeating old patterns? The unconscious works like a filter that distorts your perception of reality, preventing you from seeing the options clearly. It leads you to repeat patterns you already know, even if they are harmful, as if you were wearing glasses that blur your vision. A person who grew up in an environment where expressing emotions was a sign of weakness may have difficulty demonstrating their feelings in adulthood, harming their relationships and assertive decision-making. A person who has always had their needs ignored in childhood may develop a pattern of always putting themselves last, making decisions that benefit others at the expense of themselves, even if it makes them unhappy. How can you take off these glasses and see reality more clearly? It is essential to understand that this filter acts subtly, but constantly, distorting your view of the present and influencing your future decisions. Therefore, it is crucial to start exploring this unknown territory within you. Let's start illuminating this iceberg and discover how your past is preventing you from living the present fully. In the next chapter, we will delve even deeper into this topic so that you can finally break free from self-sabotaging patterns and build the life you truly deserve. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and transformation? Ever wondered why certain decisions seem so arduous, even when reason points to a clear path? The answer often lies in emotions that we don't perceive, acting silently in the unconscious. Fears, old angers, or unhealed sadness can distort our vision and lead us to choices that, in essence, do not serve us. Have you ever felt the weight of a decision, even knowing what was right? Have you ever found yourself paralyzed by doubt, even having all the necessary information? These unrecognized emotions are like ghosts in the basement of the mind, influencing every step we take, every choice we make. It's time to illuminate these dark corners and bring to light the truth that resides within us. These stifled emotions do not dissipate. They influence our actions in subtle and powerful ways, determining our future. Imagine the fear of failure, rooted in past experiences. It can prevent us from daring in new opportunities, even if we sensibly know it's worth a try. We act cautiously, but the real motivation is to avoid the pain of frustration. Has fear ever stopped you from pursuing your dreams? Have you ever settled for less than you deserve, for fear of failing? Fear can be an invisible prison, but the courage to face it is the key to freedom. Remember, every no you don't risk is a door closed to your potential. The unconscious, in an attempt to protect us, employs defense mechanisms. Rationalization is a common example. We justify our decisions with logical arguments, but the genuine reason is an unadmitted emotional need. We can buy something expensive to alleviate an effective lack, explaining that it was a good investment, when the main motivation was to obtain immediate satisfaction. Have you ever caught yourself making excuses for your actions, even knowing they weren't the best choices? Have you ever tried to mask the truth from yourself to avoid confronting your emotions? Honesty with yourself is the first step to an authentic and fulfilling life. Projection is also recurring. We attribute to others characteristics or feelings that, in reality, belong to us. An individual with repressed anger may constantly criticize the aggressiveness of others, without realizing that they are projecting their own emotion. This projection influences their decisions about who to trust or avoid. Have you ever judged someone based on your own fears and insecurities? Have you ever seen in another person the reflection of your own flaws? Recognizing projection is liberating, as it allows us to see the other with more compassion, and ourselves with more clarity. By accepting our own imperfections, we open space for growth and transformation. These repetitive emotional patterns reveal the power of the unconscious in decision-making. To start changing this dynamic, it is essential to recognize and integrate these emotions. Personal analysis, therapy, or other self-knowledge practices can help bring these hidden feelings to light and understand how they impact our choices. Have you ever considered seeking professional help to explore your deepest emotions? Have you ever tried meditation, mindfulness, or other techniques to connect with yourself? Self-knowledge is a continuous journey, an incessant search for the truth that resides within us. Allow yourself to explore, discover, and transform yourself into the best version of yourself. Have you ever stopped to think about how life sometimes unfolds, almost without us noticing? Repetition, a faithful friend, weaves paths in our minds, transforming actions into deeply ingrained habits. Tasks that previously demanded focus and conscious effort, such as driving a car or preparing a coffee, become so natural that we execute them almost without thinking. But are we really in control when routine takes the wheel? Do these automatisms serve us, or do they imprison us in cycles of repetition? These habits, which were once intelligent solutions, can become true anchors, preventing us from navigating towards more authentic choices. An eating pattern to deal with stress, for example, may have emerged as a refuge in childhood, but today it sabotages your health and well-being. How many times do we resort to old habits, even knowing they no longer serve us? It's time to question, what prevents me from breaking this cycle? What emotional needs are these automatisms trying to meet? Thought patterns also deserve our attention. Negative thoughts, like a scratched record, play incessantly, influencing how we see ourselves and interact with the world. A person who constantly criticizes themselves tends to avoid challenges, to settle for less than they deserve, confirming the negative view they have of themselves. What voice have you been listening to? Does it propel you or paralyze you? Remember, you deserve more than constant self-criticism. The true strength of these automatisms lies in their invisibility. We act under their influence without even realizing it, like puppets guided by invisible strings. We procrastinate, not out of laziness, but as an unconscious defense mechanism to avoid the fear of failure or criticism. We postpone the task, feeling momentary relief, but reinforcing the pattern of avoidance. What is the fear that hides behind your procrastination? Face it and free yourself from the shackles of the unconscious. Have you ever wondered how often your choices are truly yours, and how many are a reflection of the longing for acceptance? This search, rooted in the human need for connection and the fear of being left out, is a beacon that, at times, we don't realize guides us. The collective unconscious, a sea of shared ideas and ancestral archetypes, has a considerable effect on this journey, influencing our decisions in ways we can't even imagine. Are we living the life we want or the life we were taught to desire? Since childhood, we are bombarded with messages about what is considered appropriate or inappropriate within our social circle. We absorb expectations about how we should act, dress, think, and even feel. These impositions settle within us and begin to direct our actions, often distancing us from what truly brings us joy and satisfaction. Are we allowing society to dictate who we should be, instead of embracing our unique and singular essence? Imagine someone who chooses a stable and prestigious career for the family, even though their heart longs for something else. Or someone who avoids expressing their dissenting opinions, for fear of being excluded from a group. These are clear examples of how the search for approval can lead us to paths that, instead of freeing us, imprison us in a golden cage. To what extent are we willing to sacrifice our happiness in the name of the acceptance of others? Is the price of approval not becoming too high? The gender roles we internalize throughout life also restrict our possibilities. Men may feel enormous pressure to hide their emotions, while women may be discouraged from seeking prominent positions. These impositions, which take root from childhood, exert a profound impact on our decisions, limiting our potential and preventing us from flourishing in all our fullness. Breaking these invisible chains is an act of courage and a fundamental step towards freedom. Are you ready to challenge expectations and blaze your own trail? The force of the collective unconscious is discreet but immense. Archetypes such as the hero or the mother lead us to make decisions that fit these idealized images. This incessant search to fit into predefined patterns can prevent us from manifesting our individuality authentically, stifling our inner voice and preventing us from shining with our own light. To what extent are we willing to sacrifice our authenticity to conform to these patterns? The search for acceptance is not, in itself, something negative. It can motivate us to evolve, to be better people, and to contribute to society in a positive way. The problem arises when this search becomes obsessive and prevents us from making decisions that are in harmony with our deepest values and desires, diverting us from our purpose in life and preventing us from achieving true happiness. How can we find the balance between the search for acceptance and fidelity to ourselves? Starting to examine the origins of our desires and fears is a crucial step in revealing the motivations that reside in our unconscious. Observing with honesty the choices we make and identifying if they are aligned with our values and purposes in life can be a transformative experience. By questioning our motivations, we open the doors to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, paving the way for a more authentic and meaningful life. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery? It is essential to recognize that the search for acceptance, driven by the collective unconscious and the fear of rejection, can divert us from the path of authenticity, leading us to live a life that is not truly our own. The awareness of these mechanisms is the first step to free ourselves from limiting patterns and make choices that are more aligned with our true self, allowing us to flourish in all our singularity and potential. The time has come to break free from the chains of the approval of others and embrace the freedom to be who we really are.